This is the Meaning Business Podcast, your go-to source for business tips, advice, growth, and exit strategies, hosted by Bruce Coudrey and Peter Spinder. Each episode, we bring you real stories, expert insights, and practical advice to help you succeed in today's market. Let's dive in.
Hi, I'm Bruce Coudrey from Benchmark Business Sales, and today we've got a guest all the way from interstate, ridden his motorcycle here.
I did.
Saw Jerry Seinfeld last night.
I did. We'll cover that later.
Okay. Well, that's all peripheral because the main reason you're here is to talk to us today, right?
I thought it was about Jerry Seinfeld. Oh.
And see your sons and,
and do all the things.
Have dinner.
Do all the things.
Make us jealous.
Make us jealous, yeah.
You did that well. But so today we've got Keith Bird with us. It's a real honour for me to have Keith here today. I've known Keith for, some would say too long. Keith will say too long.
40-something years,
Yeah, a long time. Yeah, and considering we're not very old.
That's right. We're only youngsters. We're only like 41 or something.
So I've known Keith a long time. It's been great to have been a friend of yours, Keith, and to get to know you, or to know you so well over the years. And I thought people would benefit today from hearing just a little bit about the sort of stuff that you've done and what you do and how you see life in the way you run your business and what you do. Yeah. And particularly, I think, for anyone who's in business or looking to get into business, I think they could get a lot out of the sort of things that you've learned and experienced in your life.
Yeah. No, well, as I say, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've been selling for a long time, and I've been in the people business, as we call it, for a long, long time, via the automotive industry. And I've seen a lot of salespeople and a lot of customers, and I sort of seem to understand how they work, and I've got my own theories, if you will, on best way to challenge or to tackle all of those challenges as they present themselves, both the selling quotient and the customer quotient.
And the management.
Because
at least, I know from the time that we worked together and the things that I've seen you have to do after that, you've had some challenges. You've had a lot of things.
Some of them are quite obvious.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Not the physical or the mental or the emotional challenges, but the business challenges that you've had to deal with, I think.
Absolutely.
Are things that I wouldn't have wanted to have to deal with.
Yeah.
So, but before we get to that, why don't we just go back a step and talk about how you got into business or your first employment and when you left school.
Yeah, well, when I left school, it was friends of the family, and I was at school one day, and my mum came to school and said, "Oh, you've got a job interview." And I went, "What?" You know what I mean? And I said, "Have lunch?" She says, "Yeah, lunchtime." And we went and I had this job interview. I got out of a double period of maths, so I was pretty happy. And I went for this job interview, and I got the job, as it turned out, and I left school the next day, and that was the end of that.
And you were in year 10?
And I was in year 10. Yeah. So I'm sort of self-educated in a lot of ways, in that sense, you know what I mean? So I've never looked back, and I've never applied. That was the only job interview I've ever had.
Yes.
I've never had a job interview since.
But the reason why your mum and dad came and got you from school probably was, it's hard for people to imagine this, but back in the day, it was really hard to get a job.
It was really hard to get a job, and it was really hard for parents to raise children and pay the money to it costs to raise children, and then they needed me to be self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as soon as I got a job, then they didn't pay for me 1 cent anymore.
So that was it. Out of school?
I was gone.
Into the workforce.
Into the workforce. And here we are, 40-something years later.
And I think, I'm imagining that, we'll get on to some interesting stuff in a minute, by the way, but I was imagining that as a kid, you probably like cars, you're a typical young boy growing up in the Illawarra.
Yep.
And so it was in a car dealerships in the spare parts division, so that probably had some appeal too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, it was anything with an engine and wheels I've always been interested in. Like, when I used to watch my dad mow the grass, I wanted to control the lawnmower, you know what I mean? So if it had engines and wheels, I'm interested. So, and I'm riding a motorbike here today. Like, I'm still, to this day, quite passionate about anything automotive.
Yeah. And that's probably something we'll come to later. So one of the things that... so Keith's been very successful in the automotive, everything you've done. And so from that job, you got into spare parts sales and that sort of thing, and then worked in...
service stations.
Where you inadvertently learnt to do payroll and stock management and run workshops and car incredible. Detailing.
That was pretty much encapsulated everything that I do now. And I like every role within the business that I'm in, I've actually performed at some point. So I've done that job, so I sort of understand it pretty well. So I've been very fortunate in hindsight. At the time I thought, I've got so many things.
It's painful. Yeah.
But now I just think, wow, this is great grounding for where I am today.
So that is one of those things that I know happens to us a lot, and we're not conscious of it until we look back on it. You know, whatever you're doing at the time feels painful and, you know, difficult, but then you look back and go, now I know how to do that.
It was growth, and that's why it is, because it's always growth, right? So, you know, all those things, you know, that I was forced into doing, or forced is probably not the right word, but I had to do because that was part of my role. And then you look back now and you think, it's great because I understand how all that works. I understand how those people feel in that position, and I understand, you know, and when I went into management, I always wanted to be the boss I wanted to work for.
Yeah.
So because I think, you know, because I was brought up with a draconian, do it this way and, you know, all that
stay within the rules.
Yeah. And I didn't like it much, you know what I mean? And I thought, well, when I'm in that position, I'm not going to be like that. So, and that's sort of kind of how I've done it to a point.
Which we'll probably hopefully talk about shortly. So, but we do want to talk about selling, and I suppose I'm going to start with by asking you, what's the phone for?
That's my favourite thing that you know, that's my thing that you really like, isn't it?
Oh,
you like
there's
that.
Plenty. There's more than that. But yeah.
The interesting thing, it's just all about mindset. Like selling is mindset, and I think we've all had people that work for us that, you know, it costs a lot of money to make that phone ring when you've got a business, right? It costs a lot of money, and, you know, it could cost $300 just to make the phone ring.
Yep.
And then someone will pick the phone up and they'll say, g'day, mate, have you got any blue things there? You know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're selling, whatever your product is. And you go, no, mate, we've got no blue ones. Yeah, no worries, thank you, clunk. $300 down the toilet.
Yeah, done.
Right? And you think, I've helped the guy, I answered his question. He asked me if we had any of the blue things. You know what I mean?
Gave him an honest answer.
I gave him an honest answer. Now, that's not really helping anybody. It hasn't helped the customer in any way, and it certainly hasn't helped the business owner, and it hasn't helped the salesperson selling anything. So no one got anything out of that, although he feels like he's done the right thing. Well, and it's not really. I mean, like, you know, my credo is the telephone is not for communicating and not for ringing customers, not for this, not for that. It's for making appointments. So if you think of it in that light, so as soon as the phone rings, think, right, I'm going to have to try and make an appointment with this person. So I need to get them to come in, I need to go and see them, I need to be able to spend time with them and explain to them why they should do business with my company, or show them my wares, or, you know, sit down with them face to face and explain why it is that ours is $10,000 and everybody else's is $8,000, or whatever it is that you're trying to do. The best way to do it is to make an appointment. And you answer the phone differently. So, g'day, mate, have you got any blue things? Say, look, you know, I think I've got some coming in. When's a good time for us to get together and I'll show you what we've got and we can go through the inventory. When did you need it by? I don't need it for a couple of weeks. I reckon we can do something with that. You know what I mean? And then go from there. So it's a little bit easier if you think about it from the beginning.
That's your starting mindset.
Yes. Yeah, so it's just a mindset thing. Just to make appointments. Yeah.
Because you've set records and you've been really successful in the sales area. And I guess everyone's different in how they get to success and how they get results. I guess, what's your thought about that? Does it matter if you follow the same path? Or
I think it's like, you know, we talk about sales, but we're really in the people business. Like, that's one common thread. You know, like, you know, I did a thing for you a little while ago and, you know, it's a totally different business, but the fundamentals are the same because we're just dealing with people. So we're in the people business, and you just need to be able to get along with people. You know, if I'm employing someone, they'll always tell me with great pride, I love cars. I think, yeah, but how good are you with people? Because, you know, liking cars or knowing about cars is great, but how are you with people? Can you interact with people? Can you talk to people? And that's important. You know, you really need to be able to get along with people, and you need to understand what perhaps they need and how you can best help them achieve that.
Can you learn that?
Yeah, I think you can. Once upon a time, I used to think that selling meant taking all of my knowledge about my product or service or whatever and passing it on to you. And that's not. I mean, there's a few different versions of selling. I mean, like the oversimplification of selling is taking your enthusiasm for a product and service and passing it on to the customer. That's a simplified.
Right.
Which is, for the layperson, I think that's great. But if you want to quantify that, so that you can sell it to somebody, you'd say, well, it's where the customer's expectations and the salesperson's skill set meet. So the customer has an expectation here, and if your skill set doesn't meet that and you're not able to answer their questions or provide the information or or package it in a way that suits them, you're never going to make that sale. So it does get really interesting.
Yeah. So you said something before about when you started. Do you think that training or motivational speakers or reading books or education is helpful in getting better at that sort of stuff? Or is it just something you learn on the job? Or
Well, there's two types of salespeople, but there's three, but then there's two types of people, so it gets confusing.
Okay, I'll try and stick with you here.
So there's two types of salespeople, but there's three. What I mean by that is there's salespeople that people buy from, and there's salespeople that can actually sell something.
Uh-huh.
So if you go in looking for that blue thing, let's call it a car. Right?
Yeah.
If you go in looking for a blue car, someone will let you buy that blue car, right? And that's sort of easy, sort of.
So they're like an order taker.
An order taker to a point.
Uh-huh, yep.
But you're happy to do that as the customer because you like that guy and he's really
you
cool
like the
girl
blue
or
car.
whoever.
Yeah.
You like the car and that's what you're there for. But if I say, well, I don't have any blue ones here today, Bruce, but there's, a red one over in the corner here, and if you want a great deal, because there's two ways to buy a car, you either buy the car you want or the deal you want, and who doesn't want a great deal, right? And then you might look at that, and a salesperson will get you to buy the red car.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
But we need both of those sort of people.
Yeah.
But the third salesperson, which there is only two, but the third one is the person that's able to do both of those things.
Yeah, right.
Let the buyers buy and be able to sell to the people that need to be sold to, and to identify those people, and that is the skill. And there's not many of those people.
Is that something you learn?
I think you can learn it, but I think you learn it. You don't really go to a school to learn it, but I think you learn it through life. Like for me, when I went to school, you had all the grades, like you had ABC school,
That's right.
I was in the A grades, right? But the kids in A grades were pretty boring, and and I wasn't terribly studious or anything. And I liked all the kids in the lower grades.
Yeah, they were more fun.
So I had to learn how to get along with both those groups. So in class, I had to be with all the other kids, and everyone's do everything just so, and then in playtime, I'd go out and with all the kids that would be down the back of the shed smoking and whatever. I liked all those kids.
Yeah.
So you sort of learnt how to deal with both sorts of people. And it was interesting.
But you've got to want to learn, right? If you don't really need
you
it or
don't
want
realise
to.
you're learning sometimes.
Yeah.
You're actually just going through and you think, wow, I know how to do that. And then you don't, until you're put into that situation, you don't know how that's going to work for you. So it is interesting. But to answer your question about motivational speakers and that, I think it depends. You've got two kinds of staff. You've got someone who's there because it's a job, or someone who's there because it's a career. And I think the career person will find all that stuff really motivating and really interesting. But someone that's just there, I need a job. Oh, there's a job in the paper. Oh, I'm going to go and get that job, and and you give them that job. They're not really going to be motivated enough to do those extra things. They're going to do just what it needs to get by, to keep the paycheck rolling in, and just to keep ticking over and just
pay the bills.
Yeah, it's just never going to be great enough for you to go, wow, this guy's incredible, but he's not going to be bad enough for you to go, oh, we got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah, yeah.
They're just going to just sort of just hover around in the middle there somewhere, like being on MasterChef until the top 10. You know what I mean? Like you just got to disappear into the middle somewhere.
Yeah,
let the highs and the lows sort themselves out, and then
just
be there in the end.
Stay out of under the radar.
Yeah, stay under the radar. And there's a lot of staff that are like that. If you do some self-analysis of your team, you'll find, I've got a heap of those people.
Do you find that that's the case where you've worked?
Yeah, well, I think so. I mean, like no one in the motor industry, no one's leaving school and says, I want to join the motor industry. You know what I mean?
I want to be hated.
Yeah. And intrinsically, we get people who are getting a job. So you get a job and a career just happens. Like no one's coming in to us with a career. So it's really interesting. You can't really identify those people until you start.
Okay, so someone comes in, it's a job, but some must decide it's a career along the way.
Yep.
I mean, you said to me recently that you're competitive. So either you saw it as a career or you saw it as you didn't want to lose.
Well, I was sort of forced into it in a way. Like I ended up, there was a fellow I knew that used to ring me constantly, ask me to come and sell cars for him, and I resisted. And then he caught me on a moment of weakness one time, and I said, you know what, I'm going to come and talk to you about it. And I went down there, and to cut a long, boring story short, no sooner had I started there than he left, and I was there by myself, and I had to make a decision. I thought, I'm with all these people I don't know, and my mate's gone now, I don't know what's going on. So I just made a commitment. I said, well, I'm going to do this for 12 months and see what happens. And I turned out to be the top salesperson there within 4 months.
Was that competition in your mind? Yeah.
And it was just, I thought, wow, everything that I'd done up until that point helped me to achieve this, and I could understand how people think, and I could get along with all kinds of people, and I was able to just, you know what I mean?
Make it work.
And I didn't realise they were selling skills. You know what I mean? I didn't realise until
now you know.
Now I know.
Yeah.
And so I've used those to my advantage.
So you didn't know they were selling skills. Now you know they're selling skills. Now you can tell other people about those skills or tactics or things.
It's just mindset.
Yeah.
A lot of it's mindset.
Yeah.
A lot of it's thinking about. Like, selling's not... It's the end game, but it's a destination for me, and it doesn't matter how you get there. You know, I'm not worried about the process as much as I am about the result, because it's a results business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like if you're in sales, like, how are sales guys? You know, how many? You know, I go home, my wife, did you sell anything today? You know, the boss walks in, did you sell anything today? You know, whatever. You know, the manufacturer comes down and goes, how many have you sold? You know, that is the scoreboard.
Same in business, any business. It's all about sales.
Because, you know, whatever problem you've got in life, selling something helps solve it, right?
Absolutely.
The more things that you sell, if your wife wants a new hat, you need to sell some more things. Like if, you know, your boss is on your case, sell some more things. Like selling solves all your problems. If your service department's quiet, sell more cars, and then they'll be filled up. They come back in the service car.
What's the train driver story?
Well, train driver, because it's easy to get locked into, as a salesperson, like the minutiae of daily life, that there's administrative stuff to do and there's all kinds of other things to do. But, you know, you are a salesperson, and a lot of people will resist doing sales-oriented things because they don't want to sound like a salesperson. And I'll say to them, you sure did pick an unusual occupation if you don't want to sound like a salesman because you're in the sales industry. But the train driver thing just sort of helps. If you were a train driver and you went to work every day and they didn't let you drive a train, how long do you think you could still call yourself a train driver for? And I think you can apply that to sales. Like, did you actually do anything sales related today? Did you have a face-to-face with a customer? Did you make an appointment? Did you go and see someone? Did you go and look at all the stock that you have on hand so you can talk with some knowledge about it? Did you do anything sales related today?
And particularly make a sale.
And a lot of people will put off all of that stuff.
Right.
Because, I did all these things, boss, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's great. Did you sell it? I didn't have time. I had all this other stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you've really got to make time to be the train driver and make sure you drive a train every day. And it's a simple thing to remember.
If you're not driving trains, you're not a train driver.
You're not a train driver. You know what I mean? So, and if you're not selling things or being actively involved in the processes of selling something, or, you know, whether it be keeping that sale together till it finalises, or whether it be whatever, preparing for the next sale, whatever, if you're not doing anything like that, you're not driving the train, are you?
Exactly. So I think one of the key things is that you just said is that if you're not making sales, that's all that matters. That's what, as you said, you get home, people at home say, how many sales did you make? The boss says, how many sales did you make?
Yep.
The suppliers say, how many sales are you making? You know.
Yep. It's all about sales.
Matters.
And sales is everything. Like, you know, what is sales? Sales is everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, we try to complicate it and we try to make it difficult, and we try.
Yeah.
You know, processes are quite, you know, there's a lot of rules in place now that never used to be in place for every organisation.
So many businesses we talk to think that marketing is the answer.
No.
But that's not the answer. It's a part of the solution. No. The real solution is getting those people that come in via marketing to buy.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, marketing, what is marketing? I mean, marketing is, my belief about marketing is you've got to fish where the fish are, and a lot of people will say, I'm just going to put an ad on the telly. You know what I mean? But, you know, identifying who the fish are, which is your customers, where are they, and, you know, how can you best reach those people? Sure, it's a scattergun approach for the television, and it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
And the media will tell you that you're missing out. You know, it's the old FOMO thing.
Yes.
You know, if I saw lots of my competitors' ads on the telly.
Yeah.
But you know yourself, putting an ad in the telly, you don't get like 100 people ring the next day. I saw your ad in the telly last night. I need to do a thing. It doesn't work like that. And
as soon as that ad's aired, it's gone.
Yeah.
Money's gone.
I mean, people have just got to do. I mean, what I do is I tell people, because salespeople don't like to hear the word prospecting, because it's like, no.
Sounds like hard work.
Sounds like I've got to do a thing. Yeah. No. But prospecting is really telling people who you are, what you do, and where you are.
Yeah, right.
And make sure you do that. Because, you know, I do that wherever I go, tell people who I am, where I'm from, and what I do. And invariably, that leads to sales, and you'll never know where that will lead. It's quite incredible how much that'll do. And like if you join a golf club or if you join any sort of group, you know what I mean? It's all about people. And then, no, we'll get a great deal on blah, blah, blah. We need to talk to this guy.
Because when you meet people in whatever situation it is, a funeral, a wedding, at a party, socially, on a cruise, what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, it identifies who you are.
I can use it to my advantage too, because if I don't want to talk to someone, I just tell them what I do, and they leave me pretty.
They're
quick.
Walking away.
They just go, I'm going to get away from this guy.
See ya.
Car industry, get rid of this guy. So you can use it to your advantage.
So you've. Do you have any idea how many cars you've sold over the years? By the way,
thousands.
Any idea how many thousands?
Well, I'm not trying to. Well, as it stands, I don't try to sell cars anymore. But I sold over 100 cars last year, not trying to sell cars.
Yeah.
And that's just from repeat and referral business.
But I think you could claim that the people that work with you are sales, therefore they're your sales.
Yeah, I know. But it's just, literally thousands and thousands. Yeah,
so,
what we used to do back in the day, even to Holdens, we used to do over 100 cars a month.
Yeah.
It was just incredible, you know what I mean? And
now we don't sell Holdens.
No, they've disappeared.
We've still got a luxury car tax to protect the local manufacturing industries, though.
I know, right?
That didn't work.
I wonder how that's working for us.
Yeah. So, but you've had a lot of people work with you and for you, and people I know that have worked with you have loved working with you. There's probably the odd one that I don't know that hasn't, but many people that love working with you. So you must have something that enables you to motivate people. Do you motivate people? How do you motivate people? Is there a trick to it?
That's a really hard. I reckon that's the hardest question out of all the questions that you can ask me, because it's so different for different people. I say to people all the time, I'll say buying a car is like going to the movies, and they'll look at me like, what are you talking about? What I mean by that is, like, there's four of us in the room here now. We could all go to the same movie right now and walk out see exactly the same thing and come out with a completely different point of view.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time, and it's the same with cars. You read a blog and say, Joshua Dowling said blah 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 blah. You think, no, really,
steering sensitive.
Yeah. Oh, the butcher told me that his car broke down, and I shouldn't buy one of those. And they'd listen to anyone but me, because who'd want to talk to me, right? What would I possibly know?
Yeah.
But people have got to make their own decision, and motivation is like that too. I think I was just telling you the story before about a colleague of mine that used to hate wearing a tie to work every day. And his motivation was, when he put his tie on, he said, someone's going to have to pay for this today. So somebody's, I'm going to wear a tie, someone's going to pay for that. And that was his motivation. Other people have a lot of bills to pay, they'll use that money as a motivator.
Yep.
So you've got to try to identify your staff and what works for them, and probably tailor it, as opposed to just saying, right, everybody, we're going to do this one thing.
So it's not one size fits all.
No, it can't be. It's impossible. No. It's impossible. Different things for different people.
Do you still wear ties, by the way?
No.
Okay. So that motivation's gone.
No. With part of the world that I'm in now, like, the only people who wear ties are called the defendant.
Yes. Not the prosecutor.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about motivation, though, but Wayne Bennett says he was asked how he motivates his players. And his answer, have you heard this one?
No.
Because I know you've heard Wayne Bennett speak, and he is an impressive speaker. Apparently he says, mate, if I have to motivate him, I don't want him.
Yeah. Well, he's like that. And I get that. But I think the oversimplification of motivation for me is feedback on results. So if I give my team feedback on their result, so I'll say, Fred did 10 and Harry did 7 and Sally did 6, and you know what I mean?
Yep.
And Jerry did 3, and Jerry needs to lift his game. Jerry thinks, geez, I need to get to be the 10, the other guys, and da. So if you give them feedback on the results, that usually is a motivator for most people, because nobody wants to be at the bottom of the pile. All right?
What about encouragement?
Yeah, you can encourage people and help them and assist them, and you need to work closely with them to do that. So, I need to be able to monitor what they're saying, what they're doing, and I say, and pull them aside and say, hey, I think you should try. I noticed you said or did this.
Yeah.
I think you should try that, because, it's the old adage is don't blame them, train them. You know what I mean? And some people stand at the top of the stairs and go, you people are terrible. Lift your game, right?
Exactly.
That's training to
critical. Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's the training session over. And I just think, well, it may be true, but it's not helpful.
Yeah.
You know,
no, it's actually destructive quite often.
It's quite destructive.
Yeah.
And you say, look, Bruce, I noticed that you do this. Maybe you should try that. Harry, I think, I saw you do this. Maybe you should try that. So it's a full-time job, really, trying to keep everybody doing the same thing. But you need them to be themselves within that. Yeah.
This is something we've spoken about before, that you can't just make everyone be a robot and all do the same thing. They have to find your own way to the destination.
Well, you can do it, but it becomes disingenuous and people feel like they've been processed.
Yeah.
Like, we've all been to a business or a place like McDonald's, for instance. Do you want fries with that? You've been
just
processed.
A number.
You've just been processed.
Yes.
Stand on it, donk, donk, and away you go. And people can pick up on that pretty quickly.
So if I find a good salesperson in any area, it could be someone selling. There's this lady in Robina Town Centre. She sells, makeup and skin cream for women. Right? She is the best salesperson. I love having a great salesperson serve me. There's people that sell suits or when you find a good salesperson.
You stick with it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And this is the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
This is where I get my repeat and referral business from.
Yeah.
But, a good salesperson shouldn't be telling people stuff. They should be asking questions.
Uh-huh.
Because information is power. Knowledge is power. You need to know, who, what, why, when, where, how.
How it's going to get them what they want.
You might be talking to the end user, but you may not be talking to the decision maker. And how do I know that? Well, I've got to ask.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to offer up that information necessarily.
But asking the question is one half. The other part to that is listening to the answer.
Listening to the answer.
Otherwise being processed.
And knowing what to do with that information.
Yeah.
So that's what I said, the sales made when a customer's expectation and a salesperson's skill set meet. If their skill set's not sufficient to answer that question or to whatever, then it's not going to happen.
So part of good selling, it seems to me, is asking the question, finding out what they're really wanting, needing, or what the motivation is, and then maybe either specifically satisfying it by taking the order, or if you can't do exactly that, saying, well, "What about this?"
Yeah, well, that's
the
right.
red car.
That's right. You need to have options. It's so much easier for me. Instead of saying, "Do you want to buy this? Yes or no?" I'd rather say, "Which one do you prefer?" And to give someone a choice.
It's a question.
It's a question. And it's less imposing than, do you want to buy this?
Yeah.
Right, that's a hard question for people to answer.
Yeah.
And you get the
or even worse, you should buy the blue one because blah 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 blah. All these statistics.
Yeah.
People don't like to be told what they should do.
No, particularly nowadays.
Yeah.
Go to a coffee shop. There's clearly just says cappuccino on there, but someone say, "Oh, I can have half strength almond with a chai and this and that." And
a variation.
It's not on the menu,
Extra
mate.
hot.
You can't have it. No one says that anymore. They just listen to whatever. Oh, we can do that. Really?
By the way, I think they're coming to get you.
I think so. The jig is up. Got to go.
Get on that motorbike. But I've got a couple of more things I want to talk to you before they take you away.
Yep.
You once said, I don't know if you remember this, but this is many, many years ago. How do you deal with the situation when key staff leave?
Key staff, yeah. It's sort of it's interesting. It's not as bad as you think. It never is as bad as you think. I've been in a situation where I've lost my best salesperson many times, and you think, what are we going to do? You know what? You seem to get through it. It's not as bad as you think.
Yeah.
And a lot of people worry about that. The biggest problem that we have with that is the reaction. Normal reaction is to hire in crisis. What I mean by that is someone leaves, or all of a sudden you think, I got nobody, quick. There's someone's passed the mirror test, which is like they're breathing. Right? So you got a living, breathing soul, and you put them in a position, and and you put them in there. That's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you're panicking.
You think, I lost my best salesperson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean?
So you said to me once, about the bucket of water,
yep.
Ron Wood.
Yep, the old hand in the bucket of water.
Because
there's
you
a lot
left his company,
Yeah.
and it was devastating for them to come and work with us. And he said it was like when you pull the hand out of a bucket of water.
There's a lot of ripples, but it dies down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and it soon get back.
And that's exactly what happens.
And so every time I've had that happen to me, when Jay left, who's in the room here, and other people have left, you think, okay, it's just like the hand out of the bucket of water.
It is.
It'll soon get back to normal.
It always settles down, and it always
don't
goes back.
panic.
Don't panic. Don't do anything stupid. Don't
a pulse.
Don't do that. Just take a moment, collect your thoughts, and then, and take a measured approach. It's much better.
Yeah.
Much, much better. Because, the best time to sack someone is before you employ them. So, if you employ the wrong person, it's hard to get rid of that person sometimes with the world the way it is. You know what I mean? So you've got to employ the right person from the get-go. So you've got to sack the wrong person before you employ them.
So talking about employing people, you employ the guys that you work with you, I guess?
Yep.
Do you have any kind of, apart from liking cars, which isn't one, but do you have any sort of, and you may not want to share all this, but do you have any sort of criteria that you, no-goes or must-dos or?
Yeah, I think I just look for people that are prepared to do the work. I just think, you know what I mean, you can sort of tell if you ask people the right question. I can't explain it. I get a feel for it.
Okay, yeah.
It's sort of one of those non-quantifiable things.
Is there any particular question you ask people that?
No, not really. I think it's different things for different people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I look for attitude more than aptitude. Mm-hmm. I sort of try and get a feel for their attitude towards things, because I can teach you how to do something, but I can't teach you a good attitude.
So on that, would you rather, does it matter? Would you rather teach an old dog new tricks, or would you get somebody clean? In other words, an experienced salesperson comes on board, or would you rather get someone with no experience that you can train, or no preference?
I'd rather somebody with a little bit of experience, but not a lot. Because, you can... You've probably got people like this. They've been in the industry for 20 years, but they've got 1 year's experience.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is whatever they learned in the first year, right? They've shut the gate. That's it. We're done. I'm out, right? And that's all they've just learned enough to get by, and they're not interested. Going to seminars and doing bits and pieces and self-help books and learning and watching other people, and because success leaves clues and blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Those people are just going to do the bare minimum.
Yeah.
We all have those people. And that's the problem you get. When I first started where I am now, I know we're running out of time, but...
No, we're good.
When I started where I am now, every single salesperson there left within 6 months.
Because of you?
Because of me. But not because I was trying to do... I just was trying to suggest to them that perhaps they should consider making some changes. They just weren't prepared to make those changes. I didn't lay anybody off. They took themselves out of the game.
Yeah.
And I replaced those people in my situation with locals, which I thought was probably the thing, which seemed to be a good thing.
Yeah.
Because where we are in the town that we're in, locals, they're just the lifeblood of the whole town. And just say, I know your uncle, I used to play footy with your auntie, blah, 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 and all that sort of thing. Really, it's a big head start.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really big head start. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Because you get over that first base, and, because if you're going to the car yard, as you know, what do you say to people? Just looking, you know what I mean?
Yes, that's right. I don't want to be...
You don't do that at a restaurant, right? I just want to come and look at your food. Can you just show me some food, please? Like, you don't do it anywhere else.
That looks delicious.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I just got to go now and check with the wife. I'll come back to you. Like, it doesn't work like that in most other industries. But so having a local there really, really helps. So, I've got locals, and that seems to have been the key ingredient for me.
So there's so many little things I want to talk to you about, but we've got a few more minutes. So what does closing a sale mean to you? I wanted to talk about closing, because in sales, everyone talks about closing. You've got to close the sale, Yeah. How do you close people?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? It's not like I used to think it was.
Yeah.
Closing the sale now means to me that I've solved their problem. So I'm here to solve their problem, whether it be a transportation problem or whatever it is, whether it be the financial arrangements they need to change around, or they need to... So they've come here to me with a problem, and I need to solve the problem. So it's not closing the sale now. I think, well, what problem am I trying to solve?
Yeah, right.
So I look at it like that now.
But you must have a line that you use, like if you've been talking to me for an hour about this car and... you've told me the price and the deal and all that sort of stuff. There must be some line you go, let's do the paperwork. Or...
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I might say, look, I might just ask them for their driver's license. I might ask them whose name I might want to go into. But it's different every time.
No, of course, yeah. But you do have a moving on kind of...
Yeah. I've got to get to a point where you've got to do something. You know what I mean? Like you can ask a question and then... just stay silent until the answer comes. That's very powerful too. Just so don't fill the void with noise.
Yes, let the silence
be the pressure
Yes,
not the question, make the silence speak.
Yeah, what do they say? First to speak loses.
That's exactly right, and it does work. I mean, but I don't feel like I have to do that so much anymore.
Okay. Do you ever have to say,
with
does that
repeat
make
and
sense?
referral business that I get nowadays?
Yeah, that's
it's
different.
a lot different.
Yeah.
But, for people out on the street, it sort of answers itself.
Repeat and referral has its own challenges because, especially referral, someone's referred someone to you, you don't want to let yourself down or the person that's referred that client to you.
You want to be referred because I will guarantee that I will sell you that car. And so you'll get the best deal ever because otherwise you're making that person that referred you look silly.
Yeah, yeah.
If I just go, mate, that's a crazy deal, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not good for that person. You've convinced them to refer people and now, you know what I mean?
But does it always come down to the deal in your business? I mean, how can you compete? There's always going to be someone cheaper.
Of course there is.
Yeah.
But, people will pay slightly less than the value they perceive. So, my challenge is to make sure that we show people and demonstrate and explain to people why the cost is what it is and make sure that the value proposition stacks up.
Yeah.
If I just point over there, that one over in the corner there's $80,000 or whatever it is, that's one thing. But, if I can show you that it's got $90,000 worth of stuff in it, then perhaps I'll pay 80.
Yeah. That's what you try and do.
That's what you try and do.
Okay.
You've just got to build value. I mean, and that's the secret to everything. You've just got to build value when somebody else is there, and you can't do that over the phone. You've got to make that appointment. All this dovetails in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you've got to understand whether that person wants to buy or whether they need to be sold to, and then you've got to be able to fulfil their needs, and then you've got it. So it all adds up to a thing, and it's not that easy. You know what I mean? But you just got to think about, I got to get to that point down the road, the sale or the close or whatever it is you want to call it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter how I get there, whether I talk about the footy for 3 hours.
Yeah, as long as you get there.
As long as you get there.
But if you let someone come and talk to you all that stuff about that stuff and then they leave, there's probably a pretty good chance that they will not come back.
Well, I tell my people there's only two things we can assume, that they're there to buy something and that when they leave you'll never see them again. So they're the only two assumptions you're allowed to make. So you've got to make sure then that when you do deal with them, that you've covered all your bases as best you can and given yourself and the customer as much opportunity as you can to make that purchase. So, you've got to do everything that you can to make sure that you've given them the information. Like a lot of places won't give them information because they go, they're going to take my info and they're going to go and shove it around. Well, then so be it if that's the case. You need to be more confident in your own ability because they can't make a decision if you don't give them that information.
Yeah.
How can you make a decision if I don't give you any information?
And if you try and hold it back from them, they're going to think something's wrong.
No, that's not right. Right?
Going to feel
it
bad.
It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
Think, I didn't tell them, but she'll be right. No, well, she won't be right. You know what I mean? Because they're going to find someone that will give them the information and then they'll just buy that thing off them.
Yeah, and you've lost it.
And then you've lost it. So it's tricky. I mean, you can't learn that like in one day. It takes a long time.
So to wrap this up, it's been good. There's still so many things I wanted to talk to you about. To wrap it up, has there been any experience in your selling career that's been really powerful or had an impact on the way you do things? Or
I think it was like when I think the realisation, it's really the realisation that selling isn't me telling you everything I know. That's probably the most powerful thing that I learned because that's what you want to do. You think, I've got stuff in my head, I need to tell you now.
I haven't finished talking yet, I want to tell you about this.
And it's easy to do because you think that selling is that. That's what, if you read it in a book or something, it might tell you that. And it's not. It's finding out what the customer needs to know. Like, somebody might just need to know if their golf clubs will fit in the boot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm talking to them about,
fuel economy
and turning circle, I don't care about that. I just need to know does my golf clubs fit in the boot? A good question for me to ask would be, what do you like about the car you got now? And they say, I love the boot. So, you're going to love this car. Come and have a look at this. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean?
Away you go.
And it's just stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing once you understand that, what you've got to do. You've got to find out and you've got to ask questions. That's what you've got to do.
So, talk about powerful things. Keith's developed a whole stack of little one-liners, points. You just mentioned, there's two assumptions you've got to make for your people. One, they're there to buy something, and two, if they leave, you won't see them again. Keith's got hundreds of that sort of thing.
I do. It's going to be in my book.
Yeah, okay, well, that's going to be a good book. So we might put some links in the show notes here about some of the things that Keith does and how you can contact Keith if you want to have a chat to him or find out more about his pearls of wisdom.
Absolutely.
So thanks, Keith. Thanks for making the trip here especially and fitting Jerry Seinfeld in along the way.
That's all right. Yeah, well, it just sort of dovetailed in nicely. Like, I really just came here to see you and, Jerry's here. I might go and see Jerry too. Well,
exactly.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you coming in today and thanks a lot for that.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.